If you aren't so far left and so far brainwashed by the woke cult that you're willing to not acknowledge facts that are reported by people who aren't you, but that are reported by people whose job are dedicated to reporting the facts, like Anna Kasparian was doing on Twitter. If you're not left and fully brainwashed and fully bought in to the woke cult, you're right wing. And that's just how it works with these people. Anyway, let me know in the comments what you're thinking about Anna Kasparian fully turning away from the left wing and kind of going full on right wing, according to her own audience, according to the Young Turks audience who are trying to cancel her and get her fired from the Young Turks. Let me know what you're thinking about this whole Anna Kasparian situation.
Yo, a sentiment is floating around that Anna Kasparian, a co-host of the Young Turks, has officially left the left. I disagree with that. Mr. Williams to ill will, I'm about to skin this cat and give some air support to all my real cats. Anna and the like suffer from PTSD, post-Trump stress disorder, no filter. This is the reason why it's hard for me to trust her. Let's push that to the side. My opinion, she has been trying to be a political centric 2023 and since, when Joe Biden approval rating dropped below 40%. That was not a coincidence. In reality, she's a capitalist, and at the end of the day, she sees trends, she sees shifts and policies not supported by most Americans, except 90% of African Americans. It is difficult for me to understand how could a journalist get every major news story wrong for 8+ years strong. This means she did zero research at home. No edits, she said it.
Americans' trust in media plummets to historic low. Okay, so this is an Axios story. Americans' trust in media has fallen to historic low. According to new polling from Gallup, trust in media has previously dropped to 32% in 2016 before rebounding slightly. Those gains have essentially been wiped out according to the poll. Only 32% of the population reports having a great deal or a fair amount of confidence that the media reports the news in full, fair, and accurate way. Why do you think that is?
I think Americans are increasingly realizing, okay, I might be in an ideological bubble depending on what kind of news I'm consuming. So you have that. Then on a more corporate level, if you want to put it that way, corporate media, legacy media, I mean, they've gotten so many things wrong over the years. And I think that all of those mistakes add up in people's minds and it leads to distrust. So look, I'll give you an example that I think you guys are probably definitely going to agree with, but then I'll also talk about it in the context of some of the stories that I got wrong because I relied on legacy media. So in the lead up to the Mueller report, if you were consuming the New York Times, NBC, if legacy media was what you relied on for your information, you were under the impression that without question, the Mueller report will prove that Donald Trump had colluded. There was a big conspiracy between Donald Trump, Vladimir Putin, and Russia. The report did not bear that out. And it was just, I just felt like I was misled by a lot of that reporting. I felt like a sucker for buying that reporting. So that already was like a major hit when it came to my trust in corporate media or legacy media. You start losing trust as these, I don't even want to say mistakes. I feel like in some cases, some reporters have an agenda and their agenda becomes clear in their misreporting.
Intentional.
Now, I don't think that's always the case. I don't think that's the case the majority of the time. But when I look at the stories that I got wrong during the COVID era, right, and mostly culture war related stories, it's because the media intentionally, and I'm going to say intentionally, omitted incredibly important details of those various controversial stories. The Kyle Rittenhouse story, perfect example of that. I got that story wrong because I relied on corporate media. And look, I have to hold myself accountable, so I'm not saying that to place blame or transfer the blame onto others. I should have done my due diligence and I should have gone out of my way to read from reporters that might have a different perspective. I didn't do that. And now I've learned to really go out of my way to understand the arguments made on all sides. But if you are relying on one news source, or if you are under the impression that the media outlets that have been around forever are the most credible, the most legitimate, and the most accurate, you will be misled. You really do have to have a healthy, diverse media diet in order to get a better grasp on what's happening in the country and in the world.
And you made a great point, and you mentioned it was like right with the Trump and all that.